Hey everybody, T-Man here again, bringing you another video. Today is my Monday Night Raw review, going over all the events and storylines of Monday Night Raw following the Survivor Series. First of all, let's get started off on a couple updates here. I'm going to be shooting a Macho Man Randy Savage review video. He just came out, not he, but WWE came out with a new DVD documentary, finally getting a documentary. You'll see exactly how I feel about how WWE did with the Macho Man documentary DVD. I will be doing a review on that. I'll be doing a review on the 2K15 for the PS3. And I'm going to be shooting out a couple other videos this week for you guys as well. And if you guys have any suggestions on wrestling topic videos you would like me to do, I will be happy to do them. Alright, let's get into Monday Night Raw. And again, we start off Raw like we do every single week with a promo segment. But this, after a pay-per-view, I understand starting Monday Night Raw off with a promo segment. Because usually after a pay-per-view, something significant should always happen in a pay-per-view where the next night on Raw should always start off with that. So I'm okay, but every single Raw doesn't need to start off with a long, drawn-out 20-minute promo segment. But this one, I was okay with. So it started off with the Authority talking about pretty much Sting and how they're no longer in control anymore of the of WWE and over superstars, but they still have their office jobs. To be expected. Sting was not on Raw, so those of you who are expecting Raw, I wasn't, because I read on some websites that Sting went back home to California. They flew him back immediately after Survivor Series, so I knew he wasn't going to be in town for that. Let's just skip. Let's just go down Raw. I'm not gonna go through each and every thing that happened on Raw, but more the important things. We don't have a general manager for the long term. It kind of seems like for right now we're gonna have like a new general manager every week. This week, Daniel Bryan came out, interrupted the Authority, did his little yes chant. Kind of got one in on the Authority, and he was in charge of the night. Then he was putting all the members of the Authority team in different type of stipulations. All that was fine. Let's go down on the first match of the night. We had Ryback versus Mark Henry in a pretty quick squash match. Ryback wins that match. No surprise there. They're building up Ryback. Let's talk a little bit what I think about what they're doing with Ryback. I love that they're building Ryback's character. I thought they should have never watered down Ryback and Curtis Axel back when they were teaming up before. It seemed like Ryback really had a good thing going. They gave him with Paul Heyman, didn't work out. Same thing with Curtis Axel, and they just put the two together. Like I said, the storyline writers don't have a whole lot of common sense, and they don't know how to multitask with different guys. It seems like they have like like the flavor of the month. It seems like they'll build one guy for a few months, and then when they don't know what to do with them anymore, they just drop them cold and move on to the next guy. Now we're getting back around to Ryback again. Now it's Ryback's moment. So they're building up Ryback again. I like that. I think that they should maintain building up Ryback. I think he could be a good heavyweight contender, go for the belt one day, maybe next year, after WrestleMania. Just keep building them up. If anything, build up the IC and the US titles. They're definitely building up the US title. I will get into that. The Intercontinental title needs a little bit more work to build that up. I don't know what they're doing with Luke Harper. I like Luke Harper. I will get into that. But all in all, squash match. Ryback beats Mark Henry. Moving on to that, then we go into Triple H, Vince McMahon, and Stephanie out in the parking lot. Triple H and Stephanie apologizing to her dad, Vince. I'm sorry, I let you down. And Vince's like, I don't care. You failed me. You're a disappointment. This and this and that. And then Stephanie and Triple H left the building. That happened. Then we move on to Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title. That's a match that Daniel Bryan made. That match was a good match. It was a nice competitive match. It was a good match for Monday Night Raw. Of course, Bray Wyatt comes out, interferes in the match, costs the match. That's good. Keep both guys face. Keep Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose both both up here in the limelight. Keep them both fit whole, not having them lose, and build that rivalry between Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. Those of you who have seen my videos, I really like the rivalry between Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. Get the two crazy motherfuckers in there. Let's just let them go crazy, right? You know. And then this time it was the opposite of Survivor Series. If you guys saw the Survivor Series, you saw that Dean Ambrose buried Bray Wyatt in chairs and tables and all this madness. This time it was Bray Wyatt's turn. Bray Wyatt kind of like threw him by the announce table, put chairs on him, and then that's how that ended, to move along that storyline. Then we got Damien Sandow and Damien Mizdow. Damien Sandow and The Miz, pretty much the tag team champions, taking on Goldust and Stardust for the tag team titles. Real quick there, you guys know how I feel about Damien Sandow and The Miz. I like that storyline. They retain the tag team titles. Moving on from that, we got Kane. Earlier on in the night, Daniel Bryan made Kane director of food and beverages instead of the his old thing when he was in command. You know, now Kane is in charge of the director of director of operations. He's director of food and beverages, and they're calling him Concessions Kane instead of Corporate Kane. It's Concessions Kane. So the next segment, what we saw after the tag team titles, we saw some mean blonde-haired little bitch, really mean, nasty little girl. If that's how people in the concession stands really are, which I'm sure she's probably an NXT diva or something. Oh man, she was like real mean to Kane. She was like, you know what, I hear you like to burn things, Kane. I'm keeping you away from the deep fryer, so you're in charge of chips, and if one chip is missing, you're fucking fired. You know, without the fuck part, but I curse sometimes, so sue me. So anyways, we have that. Pretty funny, and all through the night they had these little Kane segments, and then later on they had one with Larry the Cable Guy and what's his name, Santino Marella, giving Kane a hard time with a hot dog, saying I want extra mustard, and Kane, you know, I don't know, WWE's attempt of humor. Then we got Justin Gabriel versus Fandango, or Fandango, as they like to call him. Fandango picks up the win in another little squash match type of thing. I like what they're doing with Fandango. Fandango's always been a really good wrestler, in-ring worker, but he's always just been known for his music, for his song that everyone's going, and it just became a gimmick, and it was fun for a while. But as you know, those little fun little trends, if your best thing is your theme music, your days are numbered, and WWE knew that. And Fandango really is a great wrestler and a great entertainer, so they kind of changed his gimmick, went away from that theme music, more of a serious dancer. You know, his clothes are different, none of the colors or none of that. He has like Rosa Mendez, more of like a salsa, you know, serious type of wrestler now. You know, I mean, he was always serious, but just more, you know, got away from the music, more of a darker tone Fandango. I still don't think he's ever going to go anywhere. I mean, all in all, a dancing gimmick could only go so far. Ask the Disco Inferno from WCW. Could only go so far with a funny gimmick like that. But still, I like how they're attempting to turn a bad gimmick and trying to make him more serious. So he picks up the win there. Big Show comes out, cuts a promo about the Survivor Series, and says, you know, he did it for his family, you know, and I'm just a giant, it's in my nature, you know, things along that line. Eric Rowan comes out, and it kind of looks like now the Big Show's going to have a feud with Eric Rowan. I kind of thought that maybe the Big Show was going to have a rivalry with John Cena, but they really didn't address that too much. So yeah, of course they addressed it. Yeah, the Big Show turned his back and he's a traitor, calling him a traitor, but they really didn't get in no beef. John Cena didn't say, hey, I'll, you know, Big Show costed me, or none of that, you know, even though John Cena's match won. So I guess they're just shying away from that and completely going with Big Show and Rowan. And I guess if I really think about it, I guess it makes sense. You know, gives Big Show and Eric Rowan an interesting little storyline. It kind of seems like that's what they're going to be focusing on. And I guess it makes sense because, well, what Seth Rollins is going to do if John Cena was going to go after the Big Show. So I guess it makes sense. They'll probably have Seth Rollins and John Cena go at it or something along those lines. Hopefully they do Dolph Ziggler in the mix too, you know, because, I mean, what's Dolph Ziggler going to do? He doesn't have a title or anything right now, unless maybe they throw him in against Luke Harper. We'll find out. We're still 3 weeks away from TLC. So we'll see what they do with that. But yeah, that was a nice little promo. Then we got the Bellas versus AJ and the reunited Bellas. But they're still hinting that that the Bella, Nicole Bella, Nikki Bella, still has animosity against Brie because Brie was, you know, gloating or whatever, and then Nikki went in front of her. But for all in all, they're pretty much back together, you know, which I'm happy they did that. Then we go to our stupid gimmick, stupid storyline, which I just call a filler because they have to fill in 3 hours of TV time, so we get to see the damn Bunny and Adam Rose against Tyson Kidd and Natalya in a mixed tag team match, which Tyson Kidd and Natalya picks up the win there. I'm not even going to go into the storyline here. If someone actually really wants to hear my opinion on that storyline, please leave a comment, and I'll do a special video for you guys. But for all in all, who's really into the Bunny and Adam Rose storyline, you know? It's really stupid. I mean, they got to get past that. They just got to do away with the Bunny shit. So anyways, then we got Dolph Ziggler, the main event. Dolph Ziggler and John Cena in a handicap match, which the WWE Universe got to decide who would be the tag team, not the tag team, but who would join Seth Rollins in the handicap match. You had options. It was Mark Henry and Kane, Mark Henry and Rusev, I believe, and then Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, J&J Security, they're calling them. Which, if those of you who do not know, Jamie Noble and Mercury are wrestlers, or they're retired, long-term retired now. Jamie Noble was a cruiserweight champion for WWE about 10 years ago. He was in WCW. So these guys weren't just random people, as they were kind of making it out to be, you know, the whole night, you know, encouraging the universe to vote for those two to team up with Seth Rollins, which we pretty much knew that's what was going to happen. So Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble were the team that was selected with Seth Rollins to take on Cena and Ziggler. Decent match. Ziggler and Cena picks up the win. And then we end Raw with the anonymous GM, which, you know what, I didn't notice the podium there all night. I don't know if they just put it there before the main event. If you guys noticed it earlier, I didn't notice it, and it's kind of funny if it was just there. How come the announcers, Cole or King or JBL, didn't point it out before? So anyways, the little thing goes off, beep, 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 and the crowd boos because, you know, they all remember the stupid gimmick of the Raw anonymous GM. And so pretty much it goes off. Cole goes up, reads the email, and says next week Law and Order returns back to Raw next week. So I would imagine it won't be long term. I don't think they're going to go back to a storyline from a couple years ago. I think it's just probably going to be for tonight until they decide what direction they're going to go with as far as an authority figure. Not the authority, but, you know, an authority GM type on a regular basis. It looks like every week we're having kind of a different authority figure. So next week it's going to be the anonymous GM, which, you know, it wasn't, you know, really anonymous, because remember at the end they did that stupid angle where it was Hornswoggle. So I guess they're just forgetting that they ever did Hornswoggle being the anonymous GM, for they could go back to this again. So forget that ever happened, which I do want to forget that ever happened, because that was really stupid. I mean, it was like a whole year, was it, that we had the Raw anonymous GM, and didn't turn out to be Hornswoggle? Come on, you guys could have came up with something better than that. So it looks like even WWE is kind of forgetting that ever happened. So anyways, that was Raw. It was if I have to rate it, it was just an average episode. You know, anything significant happened. Now I think Raw and the next pay-per-view is kind of going to be more on the downside. It's probably going to be like it was with Hell in a Cell. I didn't think Hell in a Cell was a great pay-per-view. You guys can see my review. I did a review on that back when that happened. I think the next few weeks are going to be slow. I think it's going to be slow until after TLC. They might have an interesting angle, like I said, with the Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, whatever they're going to do there. But it's going to be slow until Brock Lesnar returns, going into the Royal Rumble. Once when the road to Royal Rumble comes and the road to WrestleMania, then of course everything's going to start getting interesting. But until then, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm going to be shooting out a Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be shooting out that video for you guys coming up next. So stay tuned for that video. Until then, wrestling fans, stay safe and have a happy Thanksgiving.